friends, in this video I am going to discuss about malpositions of fetus. These are the presentations of fetus in the uterus. If you see head in the lower segment of uterus, this is cephalic presentation. And if you see breech in the lower segment of uterus, this is breech presentation. And if you see shoulder, it is shoulder presentation. And this one is vertical lie. This one is also vertical. And this shoulder presentation is transverse lie. This one will deliver and this one will also deliver. And this one, shoulder presentation, transverse lie, should be managed by cesarean section. Suppose these three present to you at around 37 weeks age of gestation and not in labor. The uterus is relaxed. The cephalic presentation, we don't have a problem. And number two, the breech presentation. The baby is in a breech presentation. Uterus is relaxed. Right? What you can do, you can turn the baby like, the baby is like this. Now you can turn the baby this way and this way under the ultrasound guidance and make the head come down. You can turn the baby and make the head come down. It becomes a cephalic presentation. And this is known as external cephalic version. You can turn the baby by doing external cephalic version only when the age of gestation is around 37 weeks and when the uterus is relaxed. Easily, this external cephalic version should not be done around 30 to 32 weeks because baby can turn back to the prior position. And if the baby is in transverse lie, you can make this one a cephalic presentation by external cephalic version by the well practiced hands. Now let's see the transverse lie. Can you wait for the cervix to open 9 to 10 centimeters? Can you put your hands inside the uterus and hold the legs of the baby, and with the other hand on the top of the abdomen, can you turn the baby in a vertical lie? And this is known as internal podalic version. So putting your hands inside and the other hand on the top of the abdomen, you are turning the baby into a vertical lie. This is known as internal podalic version. And you imagine the uterus, the cervix is open 9 to 10 centimeters and uterus is contracting, and you are putting your hands and turning it. It will always cause rupture of the uterus. The internal podalic version will always cause rupture of uterus, so it is contraindicated. The only indication for internal podalic version is second twin in transverse lie. You should know how twins deliver, right? When the first twin comes out, you know when the uterus is contracting repeatedly. When the first baby comes out, the second baby doesn't come out immediately. It won't come one by one immediately. After the first baby comes out, the uterus is relaxed for 5 to 10 minutes. In that time when the uterus is relaxed, you put your hands inside and try to turn the baby and make it a vertical lie in the breech presentation. So only indication for internal podalic version is second twin in transverse lie because uterus is relaxed between two labors. Remember, we can do external cephalic version when the uterus is relaxed around 37 weeks, and we can do internal podalic version when the uterus is relaxed between two labors. What are these 7 cardinal moments of labor which we should know? First, there is engagement when the head enters the pelvis and further descent and ongoing flexion. Then head hits the pelvic floor. Remember, pelvic floor is made up of the muscle of levator ani. Whatever hits the pelvic floor will contract. So whatever hits will rotate. So there is internal rotation. After internal rotation, baby will do some extension. So there is delivery by extension. After delivery, when the head corrects the internal rotation. So correction of head, it is known as restitution. And then when shoulder touches the pelvic floor, the shoulder rotates. and also the head rotates. It is external rotation. Remember, in internal rotation, when the head touches the pelvic floor, it rotates, internal rotation, and when shoulder touches the pelvic floor, the shoulder rotates. It is external rotation. Let's see the position, presenting part, diameter of engagement, and then management. For flexed head, when the head of the baby is flexed, and what is the presenting part? Presenting part is the part of the presentation at the internal OS. For flexed head, the presenting part is vertex. The lowest bone of the vertex is the occiput. And for flexed head, the diameter of engagement is suboccipitoblegmatic. And it is 9.5 centimeter, and it can deliver normally. And for the straight head, it is deflexed head, and the presenting part for straight head is brow presentation, and the diameter of engagement is mentovertex. Mentovertex is 14 centimeter, so it cannot deliver. It should be managed by cesarean section. For extended head, the presenting part is face, so there is face presentation, and diameter of engagement is submentobrachmatic or submentovertex. Submentobrachmatic is 9.5 centimeter and submentovertex is 10 centimeter, and it can deliver. So in flexed head, the presenting part is vertex, and if the diameter of engagement is suboccipitoblegmatic, 9.5 centimeter can deliver, and if in the brow presentation mentovertex cannot deliver, should be managed by CS. And in face presentation, you can see there are three types in face presentation. Left mento anterior is submentobrachmatic is 9.5 centimeter can deliver. Left mento posterior submentovertex 10 centimeter can deliver. And in face presentation, right mento posterior is sternobrachmatic is 17.5 centimeter, should be managed by cesarean section. So in face presentation, most common position of face is left mento anterior. This one, left mento anterior, is the most common position. Delivery happens. And let's see the occipito posterior in the vertex presentation. If it's occipito posterior, 80% of cases it can turn into occipito anterior and delivery happens normally. In 15 to 16% of cases, occipito anterior stays occipito posterior stays occipito posterior, and it delivers as face to pubis. And in 2 to 3% of occipito posterior, it becomes occipito transverse, and there is deep transverse arrest. In deep transverse arrest, you can try manual rotation and extract by forceps, or best managed by cesarean section. If this question comes in the deep transverse arrest, if there is no option like manual rotation, you can go for cesarean section, but you can try manual rotation by forceps. And let's see some of the most common questions. Most common presentation and most common malpresentation. What is the most common position of vertex and most common malposition of vertex? Most common presentation is phallic, and most common malpresentation is breech. Most common position of vertex is occipito anterior. Most common malposition of vertex is right occipito posterior. Cephalic is the most common presentation. Breech is the most common malpresentation. Mostly left occipito anterior is the most common position of vertex. Right occipito posterior is the most common malposition of vertex. And thank you.